So much for listening to this episode of Earrings Off. We want to invite you to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. You can find us on Facebook at Earrings Off Podcast and on Instagram at The Earrings Off Podcast.
Welcome to Earrings Off. I'm Lou.
And I'm Teresa. Let's get started.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back to the Earrings Off podcast. It's Teresa. Before we dive in, I have to tell you, you're in for a treat today. We're sitting down with Dean Taylor, a man whose mission is all about helping seasoned career fathers find their purpose, break through life's roadblocks, and create simple, powerful habits that lead to success. Dean's not just talking theory here. He's lived it. With over 25 years of transformative personal and professional growth, he's guided countless men to step into a life of abundance, gratitude, and intention. Inspired by the morning miracle and the miracle equation, Dean has a gift for turning big ideas into real actionable change. You'll love his mix of heartfelt wisdom, real-world experience, and practical tips that can help anyone, not just fathers, build a life that feels balanced and meaningful. When Dean isn't mentoring, you might catch him running, hiking, biking, or just soaking up time with his family. So settle in, grab your coffee, tea, or favorite snack, and get ready for a conversation that just might shift your perspective. And hey, if this episode speaks to you, share it with a friend. Trust me, they'll thank you for it. Enjoy.
Okay, we have with us today, to our delight, Dean Taylor. Dean, welcome to Earrings Off.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to be here.
Oh, well, I tell you, we are excited to have you. So, Dean, why is morning routine so important to you?
Well, that is a great question. I didn't always used to be, but it became a part of my life a little over, well, almost 2.5 years ago. I found myself feeling, I don't know, I just not maybe a little bit stuck, maybe a little feeling unfulfilled. And I came across the book maybe some of you, or maybe you've read, or some of the listeners have read, called The Miracle Morning. And I thought it was an interesting book. I've always enjoyed the morning time. It's just a quiet time. I've always gotten up and just like that time of day.
Hmm.
But I wasn't really intentional about how I uh, started my day. It was just, I just enjoyed the peace and quiet. But after reading the book, The Miracle Morning, I thought, okay, this sounds pretty interesting. And I thought, well, I'm going to try a couple of the things that suggested. And so one of the
Hmm.
things I was doing was just uh, writing in I write in a journal, and then I thought, okay, I could write in a journal. I like that, and then I would do some daily affirmations. But after about a week and a half of doing that, I started to notice this shift inside of me that I thought, wow, I feel more confident. I feel more energized and more engaged with the day. And
Hmm.
so I thought, well, why don't I do all of them? Do all of the savers, which is you spend a little time in silence, and then A is for affirmation, V is visualization, R is for reading, E is for exercise, and S is scribing or journaling. And so I thought, well, I'm gonna start trying to do all of these. And it just became a part of who I am and my identity.
Hmm.
I do that. I've done it. I've stuck with it since I started. And there's a little app that they have that I use to track my morning routine. And I've now today, this morning was day 814. So
Wow.
it's just been part of
Wow.
part of
Oh,
what I
my
do.
goodness. Yeah, yeah. I tell you, well, that sounds like a wonderful way to start your day. I am a morning person, so making sure that I start off in a way that sort of speaks to my soul, my spirit for the day, that sort of gets things in alignment. I certainly understand what you're saying. So, yeah. Hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about how long it takes you to do that morning routine?
Great question. Some mornings I spend maybe 15, 20 minutes just because I've got a lot of things planned or some things earlier in the morning. But
Hmm.
I would say for the most part, I probably spend a half an hour. I don't spend a ton of time. When you think about, well, I guess, I mean, I am a runner, so I do run, and I've been done a few half marathons in the last year or so. And so I do count my running in the morning. I
Hmm.
don't run every morning, but I run at least 3 times a week. And so that'll be my exercise for that day, which obviously takes me a little bit longer
Hmm.
than the 30 minutes, depending on how far I run. But for the most part, I would say for the most part, I spend 30 minutes in the morning between
Wow.
doing all those things.
So you mentioned an app. Is that part of the Miracle Morning?
Yes, it's the Miracle Morning app. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
very nice.
Hmm. Good information. So, Dean, how has the practice of daily gratitude changed you?
Mm. It has really opened my mind to all the abundance that surrounds me. I used to, I felt like I was I felt like I've been a grateful person, but I didn't understand what it really meant to be grateful. And that may sound a little bit strange, but when I just thinking thankful thoughts was kind of probably what I did the most. But now I have this practice, this routine that I've done for about a year, where I have learned to just I write down 3 things I'm thankful for, and it varies. I try to think
Mm,
about different aspects of my life. So I think about my relationships, I think about health, about finances, spirituality, um, myself, and I just go through that. I kind of rotate through those areas of my life, and then I write down 3 things I'm thankful for, and then I write down also, this is part of my morning routine, is the journaling part. I just write down why those things are important to me, why I'm grateful for those things, and what feelings of appreciation do I feel for them. And then I'll write down, well, what's one thing I could do today that I could act in a generous way. And sometimes that's just smiling at someone in the
mhm,
store. It could be opening a door for someone. It could be sending a note or a text, something like that. I've done a couple of times. I've had a thought about someone specifically, and I've written a note for them, and I've taken it to them.
mm,
And instead of just giving them the note, I have actually read the note and then given it to them, so they actually hear my voice saying why I'm grateful for
mhm,
them, which
mm.
has been it's been transformational in my life, just seeing how abundantly blessed I am. I think I prior to doing this, I would often see the world from a sense of lack and uh, feeling like I had missed opportunities, or I had just things that were not. Uh, I just didn't recognize them, honestly. I did.
Mhm.
And I think that's one of the keys that I've learned is that I can tell when I have taken something for granted because I just don't think about it. I don't recognize, or I don't appreciate it.
Wow, I tell you, I'm former social worker, and I don't know if that's the reason why the being grateful thing is just it's just so ingrained in me. I don't
Mm.
know if it's because of my former practice and my counseling, and so I saw so many things, or if that's just like I said, something that's just a part of me because I can in any given moment just be overwhelmed with gratitude. just at the simplest things because you tend to think about, how things could be so different and so many people have things going on. And even in my life, their life has ups and
Mm.
downs. That's the reality of life. When I'm in those moments where I'm in a good season and I'm thankful, and even when I'm not, when the roads are choppy, I'm thankful that I'm even able to survive the choppiness of life. I recognize
Yes.
that as well. So yeah, I get that.
Thinking about gratitude, I would think about, time even, thinking about, oh, well, there's not enough time to do this, there's not enough money or whatever it is. And I was just the practice of writing things down and making myself aware of them
Yeah, yeah,
was really transformational and has been
yeah,
transformational.
yeah,
So anyway, yeah.
yeah. That's good. Yeah.
It's really hard or near impossible for sadness and gratitude to simultaneously be in your brain. So you're going to either be happy or sad, right? That's why I think it's important to remember and be intentional with that gratitude practice because it
Yeah.
can make such a difference
Ooh.
in your life.
And I think too, especially in society today, social media and you're just bombarded with people who are living these amazing big lives. And so, but
Do air quotes with that one.
well, you know what I mean by that.
Yes. Yes.
They're on the yachts and they're in the big houses and they're traveling everywhere and everything just seems to be next level living. But I tell you, when I see that, I'm happy to see it, but I'm also not dismissive of the life that I live,
Mm,
and
Hmm.
I'm very
absolutely.
thankful for it. So,
Yeah,
mhm,
that's right.
yeah.
So I'm
Yeah, isn't
seeing,
that true? It's like comparison is such a thief of joy.
Oh
oh,
yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah,
that is
so
so
true.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm seeing a theme here. So tell us a little bit about how real estate investing led to you discovering your purpose and to help you develop your vision.
Wow, there's some stuff to unpack there for me. Yeah, I got into, well, I'm a little down the road in my career. I'm in my mid 50s, and so
Mhm.
I've about 4 or 5 years ago, I was having thoughts about, well, wow, is my retirement going to last the whole time I'm alive? Am I going to run out of money?
Mhm.
What could I do? And
That's the question for all of us, Steve.
yeah.
Yes.
So I thought I'd seen some shows about people flipping houses, and that looked kind of fun. I've always liked to do things with my hands. I finished our basement in our house, just figuring things out with for the most part. I didn't do all of the stuff, but I have always enjoyed that, and so I thought I could probably figure that out. And so I did a few house flips and enjoyed it. I made some money. I lost a little money. Uh, but I would go to uh, real estate investor meetings or meetups
Hmm.
and those kinds of things, and I would listen to people speak. And I, but the question it was always in my mind was, how can I be the person on the stage? How can I be the person that's up there uh, sharing?
Hmm.
And it was always something that I've even in my current work life, I have when I've gone to conferences, I've always thought, I want to be the guy on the stage. I want to be the guy up there.
Really?
But I always had this thought that I didn't have enough experience, kind of going back to this mindset of lack and the kind of where I think gratitude has helped me to see how abundantly I've been blessed. And so uh, as I began to just through that process of doing some of those things, I began to discover that my real love and passion is to uplift and inspire and to help. And I that's one part I loved about taking a house and and transforming an old house that was a little looking a little tired and
Mm-hmm.
run down and thinking, okay, I took this and I made it into something better that someone can now enjoy the newness and refreshing of this house. But anyway, that's kind of what maybe just going through that process is what helped me say, wait a second, I think my real passion is education and teaching and inspiring and helping, and I feel like I've had a gift for that, and but I was just reluctant to start sharing it,
Mm-hmm.
and so that just kind of helped me start seeing this other gift that I've had that I was squashing down because I really didn't recognize it, and I didn't appreciate the gift I had been given.
Wow, I'm just fascinated by you were involved in one endeavor, which seems to be unrelated to what you eventually started doing, but you saw the connection in rebuilding a physical structure and rebuilding lives. That's amazing, Dean. That's good stuff. Yeah,
Oh, thank you.
yeah,
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 it's been yeah. I still I mean I haven't done any stuff lately, but because I've been no I haven't done any real estate flips
yeah,
because I realized too the part of that was, whoa, well, this is a lot of work.
yeah, 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 yeah. Hmm. So, Dean, what do you think holds most men, like career fathers, back from doing what they feel passionate about? What stops them from doing that?
Well, I would say, and I don't think I'm probably unlike a lot of men and fathers who have had some success in their lives and their career. They've done some things. And what I discovered, it was a mindset of lack and I think fear. And what I've come to realize too is that I can't have fear and faith at the same time. I mean,
Mhm.
I've heard that, but I
Yeah,
didn't really, I don't think I fully understood it as much as I do now. And I think when we go down the path of fear, I would even say our brains are kind of wired to help us to protect us. And so I think when we start doing something like when I did my first house flip and I put down the earnest money, I thought, what in the world did I just do?
yeah.
And now, and it was a little bit of fear, and I think fear, but it wasn't so much fear; it was unfamiliar. I had never done something like that,
Hmm.
and so I think sometimes when we want to make a big jump, that because it's not familiar to us, it feels scary, and so we think that feeling is, well, this must be wrong
Hmm.
because it feels it doesn't feel familiar to me, and so we retreat back to the place that feels familiar, and so we think, oh, okay, now I'm back in this safe zone. This feels
Yeah,
right, so I must have made the right decision. And what I've come to realize is that anything that if I want to take a jump in my life and I want to go somewhere different, it's going to be unfamiliar because I've never done it before.
right. Yeah,
And
yeah,
so as I step outside of that, it's often I think people call it their comfort zone. I think it's more being familiar with it's the familiarity with life and our situation that holds us back, and we say, okay, I'm not doing that because it feels unfamiliar or
yeah,
a little scary.
yeah. It is scary.
I would like to talk about some of the books that you've read recently. So tell us about the most influential books you've read that help you develop this mindset of yours.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's so funny. I'll just maybe start off with saying my kids, they love, we have five children, my wife and I. A few years ago, they finally got me to sit down and watch all the Harry Potter movies because they all read all the Harry Potter
Hmm.
books
Yeah.
and those are great books and they're fun. I just have found I love I just feel like I don't have time to focus on fiction, so I've always loved improving myself and reading things that kind of think build me up. So one of my favorite books that I recently read was called The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. I don't know if you've heard of that book. It was
No.
fascinating book. The premise of the book is he just sort of did this experiment about I'm just going to surrender to where life is going to take me and just kind of let things unfold and not get caught up in trying to always understand uh, the why behind it or and it's just a fascinating book and it's just helped me to realize that I'm a man of faith and Christian beliefs and so I
Hmm.
believe that God inspires and maybe people who don't maybe it's the universe or infinite intelligence but it's fascinating to how much when we have alignment between our purpose and a vision for our life and where we want to go how we start attracting I think it's really intuition or inspiration. I feel like God leads us down a path and will put people and things in our lives to help us accomplish that. But so I love that book, The Surrender Experiment. Another one book that I really love is The Happiness Advantage by Sean Aker. That's been a
Hmm.
really
Hmm.
impactful book in my life. I love that one. I'm reading the Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. I don't know if anyone's read that
No, I
one.
haven't heard of
I
that.
love that book too. I'm almost finished with that one, and it's a fascinating book. It's Napoleon. Whether or not you're kind of left with this feeling, did he actually really interview the devil, or did he not? I don't know, but it's
Yeah. Okay.
basically he gets the devil to confess all the ways that he controls people and gets them to do things that and keeps them down. Anyway, it's a great book.
Okay.
That's been a great book for me, Outwitting the Devil.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. Dean, those are all of the questions that we have today. Do you have any parting words for our audience?
Oh, wow. Thank you for asking. When I guess kind of going back to gratitude, I guess here I hope some of the stuff that I shared, sometimes when I share kind of this practice that I do, I think people can hear that and they'll say, oh, that just sounds overwhelming. There's no way I could
No, it doesn't to
do all
me,
those
actually.
things.
Yeah. Hmm.
I would say what I learned and what I'm learning is it's all about progression and not perfection. Yes, I've done this routine these days in a row, and that's just what I've done. And it doesn't really, honestly, I don't think it really matters. I think that the important part is that when we're trying to grow, we're just making progress.
Hmm.
And my challenge would be to anyone to just, if they want to make a change, just stop waiting for life to feel abundant before they feel grateful. And I would just say, just start doing a practice of gratitude. And then that's kind of when everything started to change for me.
Hmm.
Anyway, that's a parting thought I would share. Just this progress over perfection.
Okay. And now, how can our listeners get in touch with you, Dean?
Yeah, on Instagram, Dean Taylor Official
Hmm.
is how people can find me on Instagram, and I also have a website, deantaylorofficial.com, that they
Okay.
could learn more about me.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us here today at Earrings Off. We certainly appreciate it, and it's been a wonderful conversation. You take good care.
Well, thank you so much. I have loved being a part of your great show. So thank you so much.